I went to Cleveland Institute of Art. My second year of school there, we were allowed to choose an elective course, and I chose to do glass. And I did it, and I really got into it. It's not only a great material, but the actual process of working with it, I could feel it like from the beginning. It was like something I wanted to learn.
I'm Susie Silbert, the curator of Modern and Contemporary Glass at the Corning Museum of Glass, and I'm here with Thaddeus Wolfe in his studio in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Thaddeus, tell us a little bit about your process.
Basically, I've been working in a kind of way where I spend most of my time actually constructing these objects in styrofoam, and from that I make a cast so that I can blow a glass cast of these form. So styrofoam, I first started using it just because it was easier, and it can really take on all the texture, and like the glass can be pushed into all these corners of the form. And then it built from there to where I kind of like make these random boxes out of like different pieces of foam that I've sawed. I cut them apart at angles, and then I have a bunch of them laying around, and then I like reassemble them, glue them together, and then look at it, and then maybe cut it in half again, and like turn it around and put it back together until I have something that builds itself just due to me reacting to like what I make, and then seeing what looks best and what's most interesting. Some of the inspiration for just like doing that, I think, is a reflection of, part of it is a reflection of just living in New York City, living in the city, and like looking at buildings and like looking at my environment.
What attracted you to these planar forms? How did you start making these geometric shapes?
Honestly, it was just like seeing some minerals it was a Smithsonian Natural History Museum. At one point I was looking at these things that look like cubist sculptures, basically, and that was the starting point for what I wanted to create with my pieces. I wanted to make something kind of like utilize these fractured planar systems, but they obviously were, the way I'm doing them, they become very artificial. They're clearly not natural. They're clearly constructed by me. At a certain point, I decided to really minimize the structures and like make them more basically like simplified, but they're not meant to represent buildings, but they're definitely more architectural. And then with those, I decided like I wanted to work on the surfaces and like create like kind of relief drawing, carving into the surface, which I could later come back into once the glass is blown and grind through different layers of color.
Were you trying anything new for this commission? Did you stretch your practice in any way for the Rakow commission?
I did only in one sense, and I think it will be something that I'll develop further in my work. But I put into the piece these kind of bronze cast inclusions, and as the pieces for the Rakow, they're kind of like these stilts, which are structure, like which the pieces stand on. To me, it's really exciting just to make a piece that I know is going to be in the Corning glass collection. I mean, it's amazing. It's a great honor and a great opportunity, and it pushed me to try to make something that can hold its own in the museum collection. Hopefully it will.